Everyone please rise. I'm going to ask Pastor Thelma Daniels to come up. She's with the Faithful and True Fellowship Church. Lead us in prayer.
I've been requested to pray for the nation of Ukraine before I pray for City Council. So Lord, I just thank you for your grace and your mercy over the nation of Ukraine. We ask that you protect the innocent with angelic protection. Lord, that you bring a quick resolve to the war and the chaos that has worked against that nation. And Lord, we ask for mercy and grace in the name of Jesus. And Lord, we just thank you for our city council. We thank you, Lord, that you bless and keep the city of Cleveland. Scripture instructs us to pray for those in authority so that we may live a quiet and peaceful life. So tonight I pray that you bless our city leaders with wisdom and grace to govern with excellence and distinction, that they may work together in unity and singleness of purpose. Thank you, Lord, that you give our council members foresight to meet the needs of our growing population and economic community, that you grace our leaders with the ability to serve with integrity, honesty, and righteousness. Thank you, Lord, that the city of Cleveland is becoming a sanctuary for families, a place of safety and peace, thank you for protecting our city from lawlessness, rebellion, and evil. May the light of your glory fall upon the city of Cleveland, I pray and make these requests in the mighty name of Jesus. Thank you.
Amen. Everyone, please face the American flag and salute the American flag. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Salute the Texas flag.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Welcome to our regular city meeting, city council meeting. Must be something going on, or did y'all come to hear me make my statement as a state, or state? Okay. Angela, let the record show that we have a full house. Okay, you know, since I've been mayor, there's not been an ordinary year. I come in after Otis Cohen had passed away, beloved Otis Cohen. Then we went into the COVID, and last year we were still in COVID. Thankfully now, I think we're through with the COVID, and hopefully we don't have to ever go back to having Zoom meetings for city council meetings. Used to, I could have named all the things that we're doing in the city on my hand because we didn't have a whole lot going on. I have to have a cheat sheet though this year, and Angela and I think Jennifer gave me this cheat sheet, so I'm going to go by this cheat sheet a little bit. This is a listing of some of the city's projects that are in progress. We have the fire station number 2, which is at Grand Oaks, which we had the ribbon cutting for, and hopefully by this time next year we'll be actually cutting ribbon to open that. We're going to be working on our phase 2 of our downtown revitalization project. Elevated storage tanks rehab, that's was the old city hall over on, I think that's pretty well done in today. The elevator.
Number 2's done, and we're going to work.
We've done the street project, or a lot of it. We still like a couple of streets, but we're working on that now, and that's getting the water and sewer and lines taken care of to do Lenny Alfred and Lamar. The train depot, we're going to try to get it moved. Hopefully, we just need to get it moved. Stanchill Park Pavilion, that'll be coming up. Police evidence facility, airport sign project, the elevated stores. This will be at Tanglewood, or where the new school is, elementary school. The meter readers, automated meter readings, we'll have that. Hopefully, some of that done this year. Won't have it all done, but a lot of it. Of course, I think Angela's going to update the website, or somebody's going to update it. Completed projects are Campbell, the splash pad, which hopefully this spring we'll open that. It's complete as far as I know, Stacy, right?
Yes, sir.
We're doing some murals out there. We're going to have new picnic tables. I'm assuming this is all in, Stacy.
The new picnic tables will be here Thursday.
The electrical work at the sports complex, that was because of the Harvey flood. We completed that. That was under the FEMA grant. Phase 1 of downtown revitalization is completed. Civic Center repairs that were made from the February the 21st freeze damage are all repaired. We just had an Allies Day at the Civic Center, and that was a big success. I was there. Rob did a great job. One of the great things about the city of Cleveland during the COVID, we never did really lose a whole lot of money. We did give money to some of the businesses for their with water bills, and we tried to help as all we could. But one of the great things right now is our total revenues for the city are up 19%, and that has to be a record. Most cities, it really, this COVID knocked the heck out of them, but we were fortunate that it did. Our property tax are current. We're 101.2. This is basically that's 10%, 10.4% more than this time last year. Our sales tax are for the reporting period are 25.9% more than this time last year. That's outstanding. Total revenues, this is on the water and sewer revenues, and I'm not trying to bore y'all with a bunch of figures, but it's a little down, which we assumed that probably would be, but our water and sewer revenue changes year to date are 13.3% more than they were this time last year. On the fire department, I think Stacy told me that we received a tanker truck today.
Yes, sir.
It'll go in service in the next several weeks. We have on order a new ladder truck that will be probably, next year sometime.
It's supposed to be here in July.
And some of the highlights of the police department, we're building the new evidence building, or we're going to do a contract tonight, but BRW didn't have the contract for us tonight. The Cleveland Police Department has 22 full-time officers. We work 24 hours a day. We have 8 full-time dispatchers. I see we're going to get what they call them, drones. A couple of drones to help us in the fire department. In the police department, which would be a great deal. And that they were donated. We have, of course, our dispatchers. We don't talk about them a lot, but they're our backbone to our community. Code enforcement, we're 95%, and I don't know whether I agree on that 100%, but of trying to take care of the signs. We're 95% on clearing up the weeds, and we're working with the police and fire department on burnt, dilapidated structures that need to be demolished, and we have 15 at the moment on the list that we're going to try to hopefully get done this year. We're tagging junk, abandoned vehicles and watercraft, that's boats, anything left on the property seen as a nuisance. Development services, this is another highlight of the city. I can remember this back years ago would have been maybe 2 or 3 permits for new homes. Permits issued in 2021 were 1,591. 190 of those were for single family homes, and 9 were new commercial buildings. Permits issued 22 are 405. That's 70 of those have been for new single family under review. Commercial building projects have been issued. This does not include the BNSF Railroad project or the Cleveland elementary school out at Tanglewood. We have many new businesses that come in. BNS is actively approaching construction. They're working on the old north side. The school is to get it ready for freshman class. These are all things that we've done and are doing, and of course, I feel like hopefully this year that we budget for more street paving. I think we need to budget for parks. I think our parks need a lot of help. Of course, we'll do the downtown project, another one, and probably do another downtown project when that comes through, hopefully. So things are really moving in Cleveland. Like I say, I remember a time when I could have done it, five hand fingers, and we got some upcoming events. The 4th of July fireworks, which we're going to make bigger and better this year. Bunny Blast, Outdoor Expo at Stansel Park, Cleveland, Clean Up Cleveland is on May the 7th. So folks, we've got a lot going, a lot of good things happening in Cleveland. We just need to keep our focused on what we're doing and try to just make the city of Cleveland a better place for us all to live and raise our families and grow, in my case, grow old. But I appreciate the citizens of Cleveland. Thank you all. Okay, we're gonna have presentations of service awards. This is for, James Primo. James is not here. I think they told me today that Scotty may be wrong, that he's home now. He's been in the hospital since, I think, the Christmas party, whatever day, that was a long time. He's been in the hospital. But that was okay. He's worked for the city for 40 years. That's longer than I can remember.
Wow.
But I've got a proclamation I want to read to y'all. This proclamation is whereas Captain James Primo will have served the Cleveland Police Department for 40 years on March 22nd, 2022. Whereas James Primo holds a Master's Peace Officer certification and is currently captain of the Criminal Investigation Department and part of the command staff. Whereas Captain Primo is one of the longest tenured employees in the Cleveland Police Department history, and we are proud to recognize Captain James Primo. Many years of dedicated service to the city of Cleveland and to the citizens he has served over the last 4 years. How long has Darrell been here? 30, 35. James been here a long time. In the city of Cleveland, and urge all citizens to join with us as we extend our sincere appreciation for his dedicated service. This in witness, therefore, I herewith to set in hand all the official side of the city of Cleveland to be declared. This is declared the 22nd as James Primo. I wish James was here. I think we'll get him his coffee cup and certificate and all to James. Item 3 is presentation by organization by Building Legacy Organization Community. Someone here to speak for them? Yes, sir.
First of all, let me start off by saying good evening to everyone, to the mayor, councilmen, councilwomen. Thank you for this opportunity to stand before you today. I'm here to talk about a newly formed 501c3 here in Cleveland, Texas, called My Block. BLOC actually stands for Building Legacy Organizing Community. Next slide, please, ma'am. Oh, thank you. Awesome. So how did we get started? I think that's really important for you to know as well, and I hope that you're okay with me not standing right behind the lectern. I don't necessarily like my back. Or back? Okay. So how we physically got started. So last year in 2021, after the Juneteenth celebration, a group of individuals were sitting around having a discussion about what is it that we can do as city members here in Cleveland, Texas. How can we better serve our community? And one of the things in that conversation that began to kind of flow and come to fruition was this notion of, what about starting a nonprofit organization to address the needs of the citizens of Cleveland? Not only our children, but also address the needs of our elderly population, I prefer to say seasoned individuals, and just the community as a whole. So in that conversation, again, we decided to start a nonprofit organization called My Block, which brings us to now. So what is the mission of My Block? It is literally to empower, inspire, and develop community leaders. The vision is empowering community activism to ensure the betterment of community members, to be leaders in daily life, inspiring individuals to be better, to ensure the thoughts and ideas of the community are heard, acknowledged, built upon, and implemented to add to the quality of life of all individuals in our beloved city. There is an executive board, and I'm not going to go through all of the names here, and actually I probably should have a magnifying glass because my vision is not as good as it used to be. But Jackson C. Moore is actually our board chair. And then we also have Karen Woods. My vision is really bad. Karen Woods, Gordon Williams, Paulette Lindbergh Wyatt, Sister Barbara Lee, and Valencia Williams as our secretary. My block also has an advisory board, so if it is okay with the council members, I would like for the advisory board that's here tonight with me, if you would just please stand for acknowledgement, and then you may be seated again. So our advisory board, Sister Darlene Davis, Valencia Williams, Brother Bernard Smith, and Sister Sharika Lewis. So who are all of these individuals and what is their importance to this organization of my block? Each individual that's a part of this organization either has an extensive background in education, some has an extensive background in banking and community service and community organizing. So these individuals as a collective whole are working together to find solutions to better address the needs of our community. So the goal and the sole purpose of being here tonight, we desire to work closely with the City of Cleveland, Cleveland ISD, and other local businesses to ensure that we are addressing the needs of the whole individual in our community. Yes, when we think about the work that we do, oftentimes the thing that goes untouched or untalked about is the mental capacity of people. So that's one of the areas that we want to address. We want to deal and help people deal with the traumas and the daily activities of life. And I will actually go into a little bit more detail as I get to that slide. So how could we possibly partner with the City of Cleveland? I was really excited when I heard Mayor Boyette say that, this is our beloved Cleveland. This is our home. This is the thing we know better than anything else. And living here in this city, each of us have our own personal and unique experience, and it's a Cleveland experience. So what could my block and the city do together? Well, one of the things we would love to look at offering different types of wellness events. We understand that as councilmen and councilwomen, you have an expertise. You have an expertise in getting organizations to collaborate. You have an expertise in getting people to work together. That's what we want to be a part of, and that's how we see ourselves lending a hand to you. Leadership training. We want to be able to offer leadership training to young people to prepare them to effectively enter into the workforce. Now, we have to understand that the workforce is changing. So we have to ensure that we're teaching the ways of, I like to say, of seasoned individuals, but we're also preparing them for the workforce as it's going to look in 2025. In 2030, because it will look totally different. Also, workshops on financial, educational, because if we are really wanting to do the work in the city, people have to come to grips and understand financial literacy. If people don't understand how to utilize their money and make their money work for them, we are doing them a disservice as members of our beloved community. That's the work that we can help with. In terms of education, I have myself over 18 years of educational experience, a PhD in education leadership and supervision. One of my colleagues have a master's in special education. Education is what we know. It is what we do every single day. Currently, I am actually the Director of Enrollment Services at Sam Houston State University. Why not take the knowledge that I have and the professionalism that I have and the work that I'm doing at a four-year institution and bring it back to this community so that our children can have a fighting chance in regard to obtaining either a four-year degree, but please, let me make sure you understand, I'm not just a proponent of children and students getting a four-year degree, because the reality is there are degree opportunities that are not four-year degrees. There are trade degrees. There are two-year degrees. And I'll be quite honest with you, I don't know if most of you feel the same way that I do. I get nervous every time I have to pull up to the mechanic shop with my car, because I know what that's going to cost me. But we can get our kids interested in things like becoming a machinist, becoming an auto mechanic. They will be able to make a wonderful living wage. And then if we also work with our students to get them involved and interested in things like welding, Not for sure if many of you know, but an underground welder gonna make well over $100,000 a year. That doesn't take a 4-year degree to be an underground welder. So that's another process by which we think we will have a wonderful collaborative opportunity with working with you as council members. Some other things are seminars, and I really want to touch on this real briefly about grief. These last 2 years of everybody's life has been insurmountable. We have lost beloved individuals in our community. We have lost family members. We have lost friends. We have lost students. So we definitely want to be able to bring to this city different types of grief counselors that will talk to us about the 5 stages of grief, what that actually looks like, and how parents and how other loved ones can figure out and see those signs of their loved ones suffering. Relationship. We want to have seminars about building relationships. And that's just not necessarily building a relationship with a significant other. That's building family relationships, building relationships throughout the community. There is a lot of work that can be done, and we are excited to be champions of this work. Unfortunately, many of us know loved ones or other individuals that have been affected by abuse. Very sad thing, very traumatic thing. And knowing how sad and traumatic it is still important that we offer and provide services to those individuals who have suffered tremendously. And my block and the city can actually do that. The other things that you will see, things like Juneteenth. I mentioned, and I started this off by saying this is how this organization was formed. We are preparing for the Juneteenth parade this year as well, and we are really excited about that opportunity. I honestly want to say to each of you, we understand the work that you do. We understand the mountain that you have to climb every single day that you come into this room. We understand that your work is not easy, but allow us to help in any way that we can. And I'm going to be honest with you, each of you probably have your own ideas of how we can be influential, how we can assist. We want to hear from you because we want to do the work that needs to be done in our community. We want to be a helping hand. That's all. We've already had an opportunity to speak with our new superintendent, and he was really excited about the ways in which we can partner together with the school district. When I think about combining these forces together, what we could do will be mind-boggling to most people. What we could do as a collective whole is really begin to speak into the lives of people that live in our community. I am hopeful that from what I've shared with you in this brief moment, that you will be willing to allow us to help, because that's all we want to do is help. I thank you for this opportunity, and I definitely look forward to forging a wonderful partnership with the council. We look forward to forging a wonderful partnership with the council as well. Thank you so very much for your time.
Thank you. Item 4 is public comments. These are in no order. Gia Payne. Let me set some ground rules. You have 3 minutes, and we'll let Angela.
You might see me next month. My name is Julia Payne. I live at 401 Doris Street here in Cleveland. What I'd like to bring the city's attention to with the construction of the new schools, there's been some accelerated erosion that has occurred in the neighborhood. There's traffic that comes through. The construction traffic was stopped for a little while, but they're back to running through the neighborhood. I walk the neighborhood every day. I am tired of dodging cars, vehicles going 45 miles an hour through a 25-mile-an-hour zone. The noise, the dirt. We speak of quality of life. My quality of life has been extremely disrupted. It's right in my backyard. My property has suffered damage. I had to take down trees because all the trees are gone. Therefore, the weather, all kinds of things. I won't go into a lot of detail about it, but Mr. Williams, I left a message that I'd like to talk to you. So at some point, I get off at 4 o'clock in the afternoons. But I would like to bring the city's attention to it. The school's construction, I guess, is all on the school. I haven't received much confirmation or communication with anyone, even though I have asked for it. Okay. So I'm asking city and city council, kind of don't do a complete hands-off, which is what some of the citizens were told. City's hands-off, we don't want to make enemies. I don't understand why that statement was made, okay? So please take note and some relief. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Payne. Scotty, you heard what you said. Molly Manley.
I came to this same city council group, as Mr. Lee's a couple of months ago in reference to employ a position that pays a lot of money. And I received this employment application through the Freedom of Information Act for the city, which has the education blacked out and very little experience for the position. So what I witnessed the other night was pathetic. I really believe that you two are owed big apologies as women in the way you were treated in front of this community. I don't see any difference than Mr. Williams coming here. I don't have a dog in this fight. I mean, hopefully he does a great job for the citizens. I've heard wonderful things about him, but this is zero education, zero expensive, and it's being paid a lot of money. I choose not to call out the name because I'm just not that kind of person, but I did come to you. I did come to the EDC meeting. And yes, this city is growing, and this is a very, very important position. So think about it. Don't just be picking who you want, choosing who you want. If we're gonna be a city that's really concerned about education and big salaries, we need to think about all of them. Because I did come to you about this and I was very passionate about it. I've worked with big EDC boards. I heard Mount Bellevue. I've owned a business in Mount Bellevue. And a matter of fact, I'm really good friends with the city manager in Liberty who started out in public works in Beaumont, Texas, and does a wonderful job for the city of Liberty. So if we're going to be really concerned about how we spend our money, we need to take it across the board.
Thank you, Ms. Payne.
We went through a process on this. We had several committees. We interviewed, 4 or 5 people. So, I just don't understand We went through the process on this.
Well,
Yeah.
Danny, let's get into that where we can make comments.
This is like oranges and apples. This doesn't even.
That's fine.
Okay, Fred Terrell,
I'd like to go last, Mr. Mayor.
do
I'd like
it.
to go last if I'm not.
Okay. Dorothy Price. She's on 806 in Mark. Dorothy.
First of all, let me thank Mayor Boyette and the council members for allowing me to speak. My area of concern is trash pickup day. The city of Cleveland, we only have one trash pickup day, and it's on Thursdays. Now, for residents that have large families and their trash overflows within a couple of days after pickup day. And also you have to consider holidays that are in between some pickup days. And I myself have had to, because there's only one trash pickup day per week and we're allowed the green trash cans. I myself have had to, 2 consecutive weeks, had to carry my trash over to the next week. And also, I'm not understanding why the residents of Cleveland have to purchase the first trash can. Now, if they run over the first trash can all the time, every week, and they're needing additional trash cans, then so be it, purchase that second. I have also just randomly rode some of the streets on Monday mornings. This is early, 7:30. And 7 out of 10 trash cans are overflowed. When there was trash picked up on the Thursday before the weekend, here it is Monday, only 3 days later. Also, I would ask the council to consider this and to somehow make an allotment for 2 days a week. Because we already have Thursday as the first pickup day, as the only pickup day through the week. And which is designated, it's already a designated day. And it is before the weekend. Then here's Monday. Like I said, there are some residents here that have large families. And that one trash pickup day is just not enough.
1 minute left.
Excuse me?
1 minute left.
Also, there are specifics. They will not pick up the trash can, the green trash can, if it's overflowed too much. And I was even told on bulk day, which is the last Thursday of each month, that if you don't purchase a pink slip from the water department to put on the trash cans, the trash pickup, those trash cans do not know that there's certain specifics that you won't pick up. And you cannot even add another trash can on the regular pickup days, or they won't pick it up. So, like I said, this is costing the residents a lot of money for anything that we want extra done. So, as I forestated, if the council would look into this and see if we can add an additional day to the week.
Mr. Price, you realize that we're not supposed to make a comment, but he's taking notes, and we will try to address that.
Okay.
I mean, some people, I thought you could do that, but we will address that, okay?
Okay, thank you.
ma'am. Fred.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Councilman. My name is Fred Terrell. I live at 403 Dudley Street. I come before you tonight because I've got some really big problems. Everybody's sitting on this thing up here except the attorney and city manager are elected. That means 5 councilmen and 1 mayor. The mayor doesn't get the vote. It's all in this chart. It tells us everything we, laws, bylaws, and how we have to react to that. He's not given a vote because he's supposed to be the one that meets the lawyers, city managers, people in the city that have a problem, and meetings and such as that. If he's not invited to those meetings, then this charter is being violated. When you have meetings without, like I said, this charter is violated. When you have 3 council members meet without the other 2, not only is that wrong, that is illegal. The city attorney, by participation in such meetings that you have, then you're also violating the city charter. The charter states on page 12 that a city manager shall not, I say shall not, doesn't say maybe, it says shall not be appointed for a definite term. The contract states on page 1, the first item is term. It says the city manager shall be given a 24-month term. It's not gray, it's not a gray area. This contract should be void. Your actions, Mr. Attorney, have shown that you more interested in Mr. Williams' getting his contract than you are the citizens of the city of Cleveland. I want to make this an official statement, I'm making a citizen's complaint against the city attorney that does not represent our city properly.
You want that?
Pardon?
You want that?
Okay. And Mr. Olson, you knowing the former city manager did not live in this city, and you knew that, you didn't bring it to the city council's attention, you again violated this charter. I'm sorry to be up here saying this, but I think it has to be said. This charter means something. Everybody in this audience, you get a chance, try to read it. Without it, we don't really have any city. Thank you.
Thanks, Rick. Anyone else in the audience that wants to speak? If you didn't fill out a paper, you can if you, this time. Anyone? Okay, item 5, reports and comments from city council, mayor, and city staff. Karen?
I just want to thank all of y'all for coming tonight and being with us. And thank all of our employees again for the hard work they've done and continue to do each week. Despite all the issues we're having, but I really appreciate everything y'all do.
Ms. Marilyn?
Well, I just wanted to sort of follow in what Mr. Terrell has just said as far as the charter. And I asked this question last week. If we have a charter and we don't abide by it, what is the purpose of it? And there has been a lot of things that has gone on that was not done in regards to that charter. So if we're gonna have a charter, we need to abide by it. Also, we did an interview process for the EDC director. And we had a lot of wonderful applicants, but we did go through the process. And this whole thing is not about focusing on attacking Stacey Williams. This was all about going through the process. And as I stated last time, we are the voice for the people. And if the citizens see that we're not abiding by what we're supposed to do, then that is a problem. We don't need to be here, but we did go through the process. So we didn't create a thing where we was trying to attack Mr. Williams. All we asked for was to go through the process. The job was not posted, it was not advertised. All we asked was just to do the right thing. So we don't want to keep coming here every night bickering about the city manager position, because the city has a lot of business to take care of, and we can't even get to it for this. So we're not attacking anyone. We're just simply doing our job. And I just wanted to bring that to your point. And basically, that's all I have to say.
James?
Well, I'd like to say thanks for being here. I appreciate what you do for our community. And I do know that there was a process of the election for the EDC position, And I do know that it does need to be investigated. I don't think it was properly done. There was some things in there that, that definitely need to be looked into. If you have an application, I saw those applications of those people, there were probably, I don't know, 10 or more. And those people had qualifications of master's degrees, business degrees, all kinds of degrees. And here we have an applicant that doesn't even have can't even tell if they have an EGD or a high school diploma, or what other. But it does say, yes, they do have a high school diploma. But why was it marked down, you know? Oh, okay, so, but, I just wanted to say that, and I didn't know that there was a process and it was a favoritism thing on the inside. So if you can, I agree with everybody that it does need to be checked out. But thank you for coming, and I appreciate all your help in the city. Thank you.
Just Tom.
This is my next to last meeting. Going back to around Christmas, after Christmas or whatever. This whole thing started on this EDC thing. We had a committee, we went through the process. I didn't know any of the applicants. I sat on the committee, they were rated, all of their different qualifications. And, you know, let's look into it. I mean, if this is a problem. But Mr. Franklin, did you put in for that job, you said?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Okay, that's fine. But,
That's why.
yeah.
No, that's not lying.
But, I'm talking.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, but, this is my next to last meeting. And I really feel bad that we at this point, because in the last 5 years, we have done a lot, Cleveland growing. You know, we got a lot of positives going on in Cleveland. We got a lot of good people here. You know, I looked at the young man that stood up and spoke so eloquently. He was born and raised right here in Cleveland. Went to college, got his PhD, all those sitting back on the back. You know, they got master's degrees, education. We got good people here in Cleveland. You know, and the people are smart. They know what's going on, and with this social media thing now, I mean, over probably 900 people viewed last week's meeting on YouTube. And you add in Facebook, that's over 1,000 people. People, you know what's going on, and when they see something's not right, they're gonna say something. I didn't know any of the people, nothing against Stacy, okay? But I'm not gonna even go there. But I just wanna make a comment about our mayor. I wanna thank him. He came in a tough spot. There was a lot of dissension. We had lost Otis. Mr. Boyette came in, and he offered a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge. I learned a lot from him. He is a strong man. He's brutally honest. Okay, that's him. You know where he stands, but I just don't feel like that he has been treated fairly in the process. You know, when you go around him and he's not involved, I'm not involved, Merlin's not involved, I mean, it's gonna be a problem. You know, Stacey, you got in, but when you go in through the back, when you go in through the front door in a small town, you don't have issues anyway. But when you go in through the back door, the way it was done and everything's on social media, half the people questioning you, I mean, it's just a cloud. But if that's the way you do it, that's your thing, that's fine. I mean, you know, but we have a lot of poor people here in Cleveland. I Googled the average household income in Cleveland is under $30. We gotta be fair to the taxpayers, make sure that everybody is treated fairly. And just like Mr. Terrell said about the charter speaks for itself. You know, I was elected by the people. I represent the people. and I didn't know anything about any of the people, applicants. So, but I just think that Mr. Boyette deserves more respect. And the issue about him coming up here, and when he came up here and had the meeting with Mr. Williams, he did bring a police officer with him. He did bring another witness with him. He spoke very firmly. That's Mr. Boyette. You know, this is his city, and this man has been here for years. He had a retired business owner. He employed a lot of people, and he is serious when it comes down to Cleveland. And yes, he came in and chewed Mr. Williams out. But I find out a week later that you got police officers up here in the lobby the whole week. I mean, why? I didn't even know anything about it. I don't know if the mayor knew about it, Councilor. Now, let me finish, Jason. Okay, we got all this stuff going on, crime that's going on in Cleveland. Why would, you know, when Mr. Boyette came up here, he knew it was gonna be a heated confrontation, and he had an officer with him. That's our mayor. He's not gonna come up here and harm anybody or do anything to anybody. That man been here his whole life. And everybody in Cleveland know and respect him. That's why he's been elected so many times. And I just think he deserves better than that, man. I mean, that's out of all the things that have happened during the 6 years that I've been on the council, all the good things that we've accomplished, this last chapter has not been a good chapter. I'm just not proud of it, the way we did it. Stacey, I feel sorry that you got caught up in the middle of this. But the old saying, it's not the hand that you're dealt, it's how you play your hand. I don't think you played your hand right. You could have played it a whole different way, and this whole situation would have been totally different. But you played the hand, you just like you said last week, you got a family, you got to look out for them, I understand that. But I got people out here that I got to look out for. And that's what I'm doing. And I try to call balls and strikes as fairly as I can. That's the way I've always done it. And that's the way I'm gonna continue to do it. So be it.
Thank you. Mr. Lord, I ask you, Mr. Lord, you have a comment?
Yes, but you want to speak.
You will have an opportunity to speak. After you, if you want to speak.
Good afternoon, everyone. All I want to say is to God be the glory. And if the city of Cleveland is blessed all over, no matter what's going on in your household, no matter what your money is, you trust God. You ain't got but one thing. He gonna elevate that. You gotta trust Him. None of us have to worry about nothing. This city is gonna go so far if we continue to keep our eyes on the fight. Nothing is gonna fall apart. I'm sorry, forgive me. The city is gonna go where God wanted to go. It's gonna go fast. We're gonna have new people come through here that's gonna know more than any of us. We're gonna have new people come through here that's gonna take these chairs and do greater works than we have. Because there is a level, an elevation. So we might as well get prepared. I welcome Mr. Stacy to that chair. I welcome Mr. Stacy to bring on what God has shown him that he wants to be done in this city. All we got to do is give a man a chance. Every human being deserves a chance. No matter if you got an education or not. This city was built on logging. How many people do you think are out there carrying them logs on their shoulders, running them old brand-new log trucks, had master degrees and all of this and that. But they fed and roofed and clothed and medicated and loved and took care of their homes and their families and built great businesses. We need to stop. enough is enough. We done dug in this grave for so long, the grave is starting to close the sepulchre. We done dug in it for so long. Let alone, let's go to the next level. Let's go to the next level. Because you gotta be careful what you say and what you do. Because things come back. It's gonna come back. So be careful. Be very careful. Be very careful. Y'all be a blessing to each other. Let's love each other. Let's respect each other. And let's go to the highest. Our children need better. We need better than what's going on right now. Let's just stop. Stop. You're welcome here, Mr. Stacy. You're welcome. We have a wonderful attorney, a very wonderful and very smart, a very humble attorney. And I respect him. Let's do what we gotta do for this city and go to the next level. The next people that come into these chairs, use your mind, use your heart. Don't let nobody tell you what to do. And think for yourself, and you make the right decision yourself, whoever you may be. Think for yourself, so when you lay down at night, you'll know that you've done the right thing. It's all that matters, knowing that you did the right thing for the people. Because when I sit in this chair, it ain't about me, it's about the city of Cleveland and the greatness that can happen here. God is blessed already. You got a wall back there that's gonna come in and bless every child in this city in some kind of way. Because our kids don't have nowhere to go, especially our youth. They don't have nothing to do. There are no centers here for them. There's nothing here for our children. And they graduate and they hit 59, getting away from here. Let's come on, let's give it, enough is enough. Y'all be blessed, I love you. Have an excellent night.
Danny, I'd like to respond to your concern about.
Yes, sir.
About police officers being in City Hall. The meeting that I had with the mayor was on Wednesday. He came to my office. Yes, he did bring a police officer. I had 2 secretaries in there in my office. Because of the situation, I did not want to meet with him individually. I wanted someone to take notes. Another one of our secretaries happened to walk by while we were waiting on the mayor to get there. She was in there visiting as well. When the mayor got there, he instructed the 2 that I brought in there to leave. He instructed the one that he chose to stay and take notes. After the situation that went on, the reason that I had officers at the City Hall Thursday, Friday, Monday, and Tuesday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. was because several of the ladies that work in this building came to me and were afraid. Afraid of, because of the outbreak, they could hear what was going on. And
We're afraid of what?
they were
You tell
afraid.
me what they were afraid
They
of.
were afraid of you.
You did, not me.
What I did? Did I raise my voice?
That's enough.
No, it's not enough. No,
Okay.
it's not enough. Because I'm gonna tell the truth. It's not enough. They were afraid of the mayor, and there's several of them here that can testify.
Y'all bring,
Would
that
you
is so
like-
wrong to bring these people, this is their job.
You're right, it
It's not no
is.
game to
It
them,
is, you're
bro.
right, it is their job.
It's
And
wrong
it's
to
my
bring
job,
employees in
it's-
the middle of this.
it's my-
That shouldn't be dragged into that.
it's my job as a city manager to protect these employees. That's what I had from,
This man was elected by the citizenry of Cleveland, Texas. This man been here for 70 years, have employed people, have helped people, have been a philanthropist for people.
Oh, yeah?
And you telling me he gonna come up here and do some damage to somebody?
I'm telling you, the girls were afraid.
Come on, Stacey. Yeah, whatever, man, go ahead.
What did he actually say that he was afraid of? What did he say that they were afraid of?
I told him I was gonna fire him.
Well, how's that being afraid of somebody? How are we
Call,
being
hey,
afraid of
let me
somebody?
tell you, after I talked to him.
This is every meeting, is this what's gonna happen now on every meeting?
No, it's not. And I called, and I told Jennifer I apologize for what I did. I told her if I offended anybody, that I apologize for that. And I've said that before, I said it last week. You got anything else?
Nope, I'm done.
Mayor, may I say something, please? This is what, first of all, it was said that the mayor created this hostile environment. That is not so. That is completely a lie. That is not so. I've been here almost 6 years, going on 6 years. I've never seen this before. We've never had any situations like this before. And if you want to call anybody a bully, I'll say Mike Henry. That was the big, just his tone of voice. But he was not a bully. We didn't agree on a lot of things when he was on the council, and that's not naming just only him. But at the end of the day, when we were done, we made decisions that was the best for the city. So nobody was fearful of their life. That type of thing did not happen here. It didn't. And to have the police officers here, now, when people call them, we're short-handed. You can call to the city for a policeman and they're short-handed. Now, you have all our officers here, standing here, guarding somebody. I don't know who they're guarding, but that's not right. That is not right. We're grown people. So if you can't be talked to, you don't have thick enough skin to be on the city council, you don't need to be on the city council. And if you can't communicate with the people, Mr. City Manager, you don't need to be a city manager, because you're gonna have confrontations with people on a daily basis. If you can't deal with it then, how are you gonna deal with it now? And this is not right. These police officers should be out there patrolling the street. We got murders, we got rapists, we got burglars, we got all kinds of situations going on out there. They don't need to be here watching us. This is not fair. So this is how the division came about. We've never been divided like this before. If it was, we talked about it and we went through it. We did our jobs. So stop bringing your personal agendas in this place. You're not here for yourself. You're not here as a self-serving individual. You're here to serve the community, to serve the people. I'm done.
Thank you.
I want to say one more thing.
Go ahead.
This is my next to last week, and I just want to apologize to everybody, people that are watching on YouTube. This is new for me. I don't like to be in this place that I'm in now. My wife will tell you, I lost sleep at night. I've tried to think of every way we could have done this differently. This is not my way of life. I don't like to be hated or people thinking I'm trying to do something to them and having all these policemen around here. We are the citizens of Cleveland. You want the people to come to the meetings. Nobody's gonna do anything to you. Just like Marilyn said, I served with Mr. Penrith for 3 years. Mr. Penrith is a hard-nosed, like a drill sergeant. He wasn't no bully, though. He meant business. That's the same way Richard Boyette is. He's brutally honest. He's not gonna do nothing to nobody. If he's gonna go to jail, he'd have been went to jail. He's been the mayor before. But once again, I apologize. I hope that people are not looking at me differently. I got my wife, I got grandkids, my church, and this is just not me. But I'm doing what I think is right. I say what I think I should be said, because I work for the people. No personal agendas against anybody. So, I'm sorry once again, Mr. Foreman.
Thank you, Dan. Mike and I went to school together, classmates, so maybe there was something in the water. Mike, we were back a long time.
Old, man.
May I say something?
I'm talking right now. I'd like to wish Jennifer a happy birthday. It's her birthday today. Also, at 1 o'clock Thursday, we're having street dedication of Ernest Carrington at 1 o'clock. And Saturday, I'm gonna actually throw out the game ball at the CYBA. So that's all I gotta say. James, go ahead.
Yes, sir. There's two sides to every story, right? Okay. Well, you heard how nice the mayor is and how great he is, and I concur to that. He's a nice man. He's great things for the community. But on the other side of this, I'm the one that's been threatened personally by him, not only physically. He threw a
James, hey, I don't think we need to go over there tonight.
to threaten me.
I've never threatened
and told me that he would.
Let him talk.
That he would want to punch the
We know
piss
what
out of
the
me.
deal is.
And so he physically threatened me, and I put a restraining order against him, a criminal trespassing order. I am
I
also,
won't step on your property.
I'm talking to you.
Richard, let him talk. Everybody know what the deal is, so just let him talk.
So,
Let him run his mouth.
okay, that's all I have to say. I just wanted to let you know that there are two sides of the coin, and there were people in there. All the council was in there
Okay,
and
you
saw
said-
this. And I'm still talking, Richard. I have the floor here, thank you.
No, you don't.
Yes, sir, I do. I have the right to talk to Richard, anybody else. And just to let you know that the attorney general, the attorney was in there, and everybody was in there to see the mayor threaten me, that he wanted to.
Hey,
punch
did you hear me
the-
threaten
the-
him? Mayor, I'm not gonna get involved in this. Dan, did he threaten you, Danny?
He told me something very ugly.
I'll have a say so about that too.
What did you say?
Okay, you mentioned that I told you, you said, and Mayor, you said that I physically mentioned to Danny Lee to kiss my derriere. That's a lie. That's a bald-faced lie.
I heard that.
You never heard it
Yes, I did.
whatsoever. Those
Yes,
words
I did.
never came out of my
I
mouth.
did.
James, come on, man. Hey, look,
You are
let's
absolutely
just drop
lying.
this. We just chasing rabbits.
You chased the
People
morning
here,
rabbits.
let's-
It's a lie. I just want you to know there are two sides to the story.
Okay. Yes, this is.
Okay, let's get to the, we're going to the consent agenda. Has everyone, or the council, had a chance to look at the consent agenda?
Yes, we did, but, Mayor, if I may, I would like to, remove item 10.
Okay. Okay, item 10 is to the Love's Truck Stop fuel account. You're gonna take it out?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, Mr. Mayor, if there are no other questions on any of the other items on the consent agenda, I make a motion that we approve, item number 6 through 12 and leave out number 10.
No second.
Any other discussion? No. All those in favor? Aye. Raise your right hand. Yes, same sign. Okay, item 10 is to approve to complete credit authorization from Lowe's Travel Stop for a city fuel account and authorize the city manager to sign the documents.
Okay, and my question is, for the, company that we have at this time, did something occur? The reason we want to change this, or do we have a contract? And if so, what are the terms on the contract?
No, ma'am, we don't have a contract. It's Wagner's up here across from City Hall. They are going out of business. And we came up with the idea to reach out to Lowe's and also Quick Trip to get a credit line with them so we can buy fuel. We're also going to put an option for us to have our own tanks in place at the next meeting. And then let you guys make a choice on which direction y'all want to go. The option will be to either have credit lines at Quick Trip and Love's, or to spend a little bit of money and install our own tanks. Wagner's can fuel.
Okay.
Okay. Now, Wagner's,
These plug-ins.
so what I'm saying is now, Tigers is still gonna serve us, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I strongly feel like that we should, patronize whiteness. We've been doing business with them since I was a kid. And there's been a lot of times, doing natural disasters, floods, hurricanes, you know, they would always take care of the city and make sure that, our workers, you know, had gas.
Correct.
You know, they always put us first. Now, with Love and Quick Trip, you know, we don't know them like that. Now, Whiteman, you can pick up the phone and call them. So, you know, I think that's something we really, really need to stay with them. I know that'll be next month, but, we should stay with the local people.
And I agree, and that's why I was gonna put the proposal from Whiteners on the next agenda to have them install some tanks for us, provide the fuel for us. I spoke with him today, and that's what we discussed, and I told him that the item on the agenda today, there would be no decision made on it, that it would be, it's just, it's me doing my due diligence as the city manager to provide options.
Okay, but see, I was just saying, on here it says, complete authorization with Love's for a city fuel account.
And that's all, that's only to apply for the account.
And I don't think it should have been on a consent agenda because we never discussed it. So normally on a consent agenda, there's items that you've already discussed or at least have gone over. So I think maybe we just need to put this to the side or until we come up with a suitable suggestion.
May I make a motion that we table this item?
Well, when did she go on that bid? I mean, when was he actually gonna close it?
He told me, he had talked to you that one day about a month ago, he was anticipating to try to do it as soon as he could, probably within about 2 months. When I talked to him today, he's provided tanks for several other of his clients, and, he said it would, he's gonna work with us until we come up with a solution. He's gonna keep us in fuel until he comes.
And that, that includes the card reader, so we know who got the gas when they got it.
That's
all other
correct.
things. Only thing about Lowe's, they're probably the highest gas in the city. I mean, they're high. Do they give us, because how many gallons we use?
More.
9,000? 9, 10?
Yes.
They don't give us a discount?
We don't currently buy from them, so.
But I mean, if we sign this contract, we don't get a discount.
This is just for credit.
I understand that, but I mean, I understand that your truck drivers get back.
Well, yeah, I'm sure.
In other words, they don't pay that pump
Right.
price.
We've not got to that point. This is the initial stages of it. But I'm sure if we got to that point, with the amount of fuel that we purchased, we would get a discount. But I do support the fact, we're staying with Mr. Whitener. Again, this was only me doing some due diligence to check out options.
James, you want to table it? Make the motion to table.
Second.
Danny seconded. Any other discussion, council?
Just to add to that, it's not really discussion. And the reason I ask is because we don't want to just boot our mom and pop businesses out. We want to continue to support them as well. But if there's something that he does not want to engage in any longer, or he sees that he can't, then possibly we'll go out and seek another vendor.
Sure. Yeah, and that was never the intent to do anybody out.
Yeah, he's just having so much staff that what you call it there, it's next to the parks house. Right. It's just not worth him staying open, and it's only gonna get worse with that. But I have a motion that we table this from James, second from Danny. Any other discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Same against. Okay, this is a presentation from Brooks, Watson and Company, PLLC, for fiscal year 2021 financial audit and consider acceptance as presented. I think you've got, everybody's got.
Good evening, everyone. As the finance director of the city of Cleveland, I am very proud to announce that this is our first year receiving an award from the GFOA for Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting for fiscal year end 2020. I also want to thank my staff for all their hard work, and we will continue to accomplish many more things for the city of Cleveland. Tonight, we have Lewis with Brooks and Watson Company to present our audit for fiscal year end 2021.
Good evening, council. Before you tonight, you should have a bound copy of the audit report, and within the front cover of that, there's 3 handouts. One is a copy of the presentation. If you want to look at that rather than the screen, that it is also on the screen for you. My name is Louis Breedlove. I am the senior audit manager over at Brooks Watson, and we have completed the fiscal year 2021 audit. First thing I'd like to do is give you a quick overview of the audit process. So, one, the audit was performed in accordance with generally accepted auditing standards. We break our audit down into about 5 phases. First, the assessment phase, where we come in and assess the controls within the city. So pretty much anywhere where money is going in or out, we're going to look through the processes that are in that place, look for what types of controls are established, and look for room for any type of improvements or recommendations we may be able to make for additional controls. As well as we're going to do sample testing on each of those areas to ensure that through the results of those samples tested, that we do see the controls that are in place and all the aspects that we expect to see in those samples will be established. Once we've evaluated and assessed those controls, we move into our risk-based approach. What we do there is we evaluate each aspect of the financial statements and for what type of risk it has, and that dictates what type of testing we're going to do, to what level of detailed testing we're going to do, and the type of procedures we need to do over that area. Next, we move into our compliance phase. That's going to be where we're testing the city's compliance with things such as grants, Public Fund Investment Act, bid requirements, things of that nature. This year, the city did have a single audit, which is required. Remember, there's federal expenditures over $750,000, so there was a compliance phase to that as well. Once we completed that aspect of the procedures, we move to what we call our field work processes. That's our actual tie out and testing over year-end numbers. Then we're going to be tying out balance sheet items, confirming with third party wherever possible, ensuring cutoff is materially accurate. And as we're tying out that balance sheet, we're testing the material accuracy of your revenues and your expenditures. Now, once we've completed those procedures, we move into our conclusion and reporting phase, where we go through several levels of review to ensure that all procedures performed were appropriate and completely thorough, and then move into our reporting phase, where we help prepare the report and the letters that I have for you tonight. Next, this is to give you an overview of the components of the annual comprehensive financial report. Within the report, there's an introductory section that's going to contain information about the city, as well as your transmittal letter. There's the financial piece that's going to include your auditor's opinion, your management's discussion and analysis, financial statements. That's going to be both your full accrual statements, as well as your fund level statements. Behind that is the notes of the financial statements. That's going to give you a lot of language and detail on the numbers that are in the financial statements. Behind that is your supplementary information, and behind that is your statistical section. As was mentioned, the city did receive the Certificate of Achievement and Excellence, which is outstanding. It's what it does for the city is, one, it goes through a rigorous review to ensure that the city is reporting to the full requirement of the GFOA. It also includes a lot of extra information that helps provide additional information to your citizens. That way, the city is just really being truly transparent as much as possible from the financial data side of things. Related to the auditor's opinion, the city did receive an unmodified opinion, often referred to as a clean opinion, and this is the highest level of assurance that we as auditors are able to provide. Next, to give you a few financial highlights for the year. So citywide cash and investments, we saw an increase there about 10.6 million. That's gonna be due to bonds that were issued during the year, increasing that cash balance. Capital assets, net appreciation was up 696,000. This is due to all the growth and development that we're seeing. Net position citywide is up as well, largely due to that infrastructure and the debt issue. Government fund balances for your general fund, or government fund balances for all government funds is up by 7.9 million. Again, largely due to that influx of cash from those bonds. And then your general fund balance is up 519,000. When we look at your utility funds, unrestricted net position was up by 2.4 million. Utility fund operating income was at 197,000. So the city's utility fund is operating at a positive and is functioning well. Overall city debt was up by 7 million, which is consistent with what we're seeing there on the other data points. Next is going to give you an overview of your revenues and expenditures for your governmental funds. So some of these are some of your key areas within your financials. So revenues, property tax, we saw an increase of 12%, and sales tax, we saw an increase of 12%. Both of those is due to growth within the area. Property taxes are due to assessment increases and the development within some of the areas. And then sales tax, we see an increase in local purchases and economic growth, which has helped sales tax continue to trend up. Your licenses and permits were up significantly by 477,000. That's just due to a lot of that new development that we're seeing in the city. And then your intergovernmental, that was up by 2.2 million. That's going to be due to the American Rescue Plan Act. That's a big chunk of it, as well as the fire grant that came in this year, which was what triggered your single audit for the year. Expenditures, we were looking at general government. It was pretty consistent year over year. Public safety was up by about 13%. That's largely going to be due to that push for growth in fire and personnel there. And then cultural and recreation, we saw an increase of 11% there. That's just due to a lot of the various things, as well as increase in maintenance and operations. All right. Next, looking at your general fund balance. So first we'd like to look at what the unassigned fund balance is for the general fund. So the city does have a policy that to maintain 25% of unassigned fund balance in the general fund of the annual general fund expenditures. And what that does is it looks at, if you're looking at your general funds expenditures for the year and comparing that to your unassigned fund balance, to ensure that you have at least 25% sitting in your unassigned fund balance when you're comparing it to those expenditures. And that would kind of dictate how far into that next year, if you received $0 that next year, how long would you operate within the general fund, assuming things were consistent year over year. So for 2021, we saw that it was at 74%, far exceeding the minimum requirement based on the city's policy. So fund balance is looking healthy. 2021 budget results, we saw revenues, they exceeded the budget amount by 1.4 million. Your expenditures were under budget by 806,000, positive variance there. Your other financing sources resulted in a negative budget variance of 157, but overall, your budget had a positive budget variance of $2,091,000. So assuming the city was able to accomplish everything you were seeking to accomplish for the year, that's a sign of a very healthy fiscal budget. Next, this is communication letters. So there's two letters that are within that front cover of the report that came with it. One is the communication with those charged with governance. That's going to be the slightly thicker one that's got the staple on it. That one, it goes over various things. One in relation to our responsibility as auditors, the responsibility of city management and the various aspects of that. And there's a few key points in that letter that I want to point out. One, the audit was conducted in compliance with all ethics requirements regarding independence. We encountered no difficulties when working with management, and the audit adjustments that were identified were corrected by management. The second letter is related to any internal control identified errors or anything like that. In this case, there was one recommendation No findings that were considered to be material or of any concern. And two other matters that are just for information related to future GASBs that are being implemented, GASB 87 that's coming out and effective this coming year relating to operating leases, as well as some recommendations on potential policies that the city could implement related to the American Rescue Plan as well. But no concerns or material weaknesses identified. And with that, I'll open it up to any questions you may have.
Louis, just one comment. We met before this meeting about this, and the comments were brought up. Leslie said she'll take care of it. They shouldn't be a problem.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully next year she wants a little badge. Yeah, great work.
Yeah, I mean, audit when it's smoothly as could be expected. Yeah, very smooth audit. Team was very responsive in getting all the support to everything that was asked of them. They were ready to go. So that really couldn't have asked for more in terms of an audit.
This period was 9/30, 2020 to 9/30, 2021.
That's right.
I want everybody to know that that's.
May I ask a question, please?
Go ahead.
And I know I was in the back when you was explaining all this, but I just had a question about the American Rescue Plan.
Yes, ma'am.
And I know there was a lot of uncertainty as to what cities could use those funds for. Do they have maybe a list or a compile of certain things that this money can be spent for?
Yes, there is. So there is a lot of information out there on what it can be used for. When it first came out, there was there wasn't a lot of specifics on what cities should or could and could not spend it on. However, TDM, Texas Department of Emergency Management, they have a lot of information related to it available. It's coming through the U.S. Treasury's Department, so they do have a lot of resources on it as well. But there is a list of broader categories that cities are able to spend it on. A lot of cities are trying to use it on different types of water infrastructure. That's an area that is on the table that it can be used on. But there's various categories they give, and more recently, there's been more guidance on how cities can use those funds. But it's just been a little slower to get that out when we compare it to the CARES Act funds that came out the previous year, where that was a lot more detailed on here's exactly what you can use it for and what you cannot use it for. It's just been less detailed initially, but there's a lot of guidance that we can give finance to make sure that they have those links to resources on where to look for that.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, sir. Appreciate it. Any other questions, council?
I want to thank Leslie for her hard work and all the helpers that I'll put this together. Appreciate your hard work as well. Thank you.
With that said, if we need a motion, I would like to go ahead and make a motion that we accept this financial audit as it was presented.
Second.
Marilyn made the motion that we accept the Brooks, Watson and Company's audit. James seconded. Any other discussion, council? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Same sign against. Item 14, BRW didn't give us a contract, so we're just going to take it on. We're just pulling it from the agenda. 15, discussion of Liberty County HGAC mobility study new map system. Stacy, you can do that.
Yes, sir. This is a study that started in 2020 with the cities, counties, TxDOT, and HGAC representatives to develop a study for Liberty County. Recently, myself and Angela have met, attended two of the meetings in 2022. At the March 10th meeting, the new mapping system was introduced by HGAC Mobility Group, is asking for feedback and comments on the information on their system before moving to the next phase of the study. The packet of information has a web link to click on and view. And basically what we're asking you guys to do is to go on there and click and view and put in any comments you may have as it relates to the city of Cleveland as far as some infrastructure improvements and the mobility study. There's several, the packet is full of, there are representatives from Liberty County, City of Cleveland, City of Dayton, City of Liberty, TxDOT, and HGAC. It's just a mobility study. The study's requesting that the feedback be completed by March 25th. So we've got about 10 days to everybody to go in there and do their feedback. And we'd appreciate it if y'all would take a look at it and provide your feedback before we go to the next round of meetings.
So do we need to make a motion to send what they're, it's just information?
It's just information.
Okay, item 16, consideration and possible action to terminate current city manager. Item 17 and 18, the executive session as far as.
Yeah, Mayor, kind of in the interest of peace, what I've suggested to the mayor and others is that I'll send out a legal memorandum that's really just some updates. I'll send those out, and then I know Mr. Terrell brought a couple of issues. I'll include that in my memorandum as well. I'll still send it out there.
So we don't need this executive.
Unless somebody has something specific they want to talk about, otherwise I think in the interest of keeping the peace, I'll do it.
Mayor, could we go back to item 16?
Yeah, go ahead.
There's been a lot of talk about the charter, and I'd like to call the attention to Article 3, Section 3.01, Item B. And it pertains to the mayor. I won't read it all, but the mayor has no regular administrative duties. So the mayor cannot hire, fire, or terminate anybody. This is his opinion. He says he's going to put this on here every time we have a meeting.
Yes, it's going to be on there.
And we're going to go through this system every time we have a meeting, because the mayor wants to get rid of, terminate Stacey Williams because of his own agenda. I would like to make a motion pertaining to the charter that you, the mayor, have no right to use your authority to terminate Stacey Williams, and I do not want to see this item on the agenda again.
You can't stop it. So
I make a motion that you stop making this agenda. How do you do this, David?
Well, there isn't a way to do, because, I mean, even though the mayor doesn't have a vote, he has the right per the charter to call a special election. So even if council changes the policy about how people can place things on an agenda, he always reserves the right to call a special meeting. So he can concurrently call a special meeting with every regular meeting and have his agenda on there unilaterally. Just because it's permitted. So, I mean, y'all have established essentially a policy, I believe, informally, that any member of council or the mayor can request something to be placed on the agenda. That has been the general practice. We've never formalized it. If y'all would like to formalize it, you can. But I'm just telling you, even if y'all formalize a policy like that, he still has a right per charter to call a special meeting. And he can do that at any given time.
But it says in the charter that he shall not have no regular administrative duties.
He absolutely does not, and you're right, he does not have the authority to hire or fire, he recognizes that. Only council,
yeah, for sure.
Majority of council has the right to hire or fire the city administrator, or manager. But,
So there's no way we're just gonna have to go through this each time?
well, I mean, I think that you would be establishing a policy that would be contrary to the charter.
Right.
As it relates to his ability to call special meetings. So I think he can circumvent any policy that the majority does.
Right. Thank you.
Okay. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion that we adjourn.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Thank you.